hits the big screen, let's take a trip down memory lane to see the top 10 moments in the Avengers franchise. At number 10, it's Loki versus Iron Man. Iron Man will be Iron Man as always. In the very first Avengers movie, the team faced off with Thor's adopted younger brother Loki, who wanted to rule the Earth. And in his first public appearance after receiving the Tesseract, he was about to kill an elderly man who stood up to him when Captain America appeared with Black Widow backing him up. And as much as people love the Captain, Iron Man steals the spotlight with his badass entrance matching with the perfect music. Granted, there wasn't that much of a fight between the two confrontations between them in the movie, and you still can't help but love it. The second time was in Stark's own building where he was threatening Loki. It wasn't much of a physical fight, but as Stark is who he is, there was a lot of bashing while nailing down in Loki's head that he'll never win in whatever scenario, especially after pissing off every Avenger member. You just have to applaud him for that last shot he took of Loki for being reminded of his army.
And there's one other person who thinks
At number 9, we have Loki versus the Hulk. This may be one of the most favourite scenes in the Avengers movies, and the most hilarious. Viewers might even actually agree on how Hulk handled Loki and shut him up. Loki really acted like a spoiled child in that scene. After Iron Man heads off to deal with the army, Loki's left in Stark Tower where he faces off with a familiar opponent, his older half-brother Thor, but that doesn't last very long. After raining some terror in the city, Loki faces off with someone who's much more of a challenger, the Hulk. A one-on-one match and a one-sided one at that. Loki gets shoved to a wall and after attempting to talk down to Hulk, he gets interrupted, leading to his beating. This doesn't really need much of an explanation as to why it's in the top 10. Seeing Hulk treat Loki like a ragdoll as he kept on pounding him into the ground is the reason we all love this moment. Avengers vs Ultron is at number 8. Another epic moment for the Avengers was their final confrontation with Ultron, where every single member, including the newly added twins, although one of them soon said goodbye, were encircled around the switch, ready to defend it against Ultron. After evacuating most of the citizens, Ultron raised the part of Sokovia in the air, trapping the majority of the Avengers and some of the citizens. There's a huge battle against Ultron and his minions. Each Avenger plays their part and Scarlet Witch officially joins the Avengers. Sadly though, her twin Quicksilver passes away after saving Hawkeye and a kid. On the bright side, he still manages to be part of the iconic scene, the final face-off between the Avengers and Ultron. Seeing all the action dropped in a single place is just simply amazing. Also, you can definitely see how Marvel has evolved throughout the years. Needless to say, this one is definitely an improvement from the last Avengers movie. At number 7 is Hulk transforming. Many of the Avengers were skeptical whether Bruce Banner will actually return, since he spent a lot of effort avoiding conflict in fear of losing his cool. But Stark was optimistic and luckily Banner did turn up. Just in time too, because Iron Man was indeed bringing the party to the gang. Yes, but I guess we all beg to differ. Earlier in the movie, Banner was asked by Stark how he keeps the Hulk in check when he arrived in the battle scene. Captain said it was the right time to get angry, saying that well-known line,
"I'm always angry."
Hulk stops the giant ship of invaders, leading to the iconic scene of all the Avengers gathering for the first time in the middle of the battlefield.
Listen well.
Iron Man vs. Thor is at number 6. Iron Man's someone who likes to play above his level, and going head to head with a god is just one example. This scene is one of the best fights of an Avenger versus Avenger. Stark's remarks about Thor also add to the reason why people love this fight. Although Captain America did join the party, we still prefer the one-on-one fight of Iron Man versus Thor. Since Stark is basically only a human inside metal armor, their fight is more stimulating than the god fighting with a super soldier. At number 5 is Thor versus Hulk. Don't you just love how Thor said to Hulk, try to think at the beginning of the fight, when we all know Hulk doesn't even know how to think. Now, this won't be the last time Thor and Hulk face off. They also fight in Thor Ragnarok, but just for fun. And we're focusing on moments that took place in the Avengers movies, not in their individual films. Anyway, the intensity of this fight was high, with the lives of everyone on board the ship at risk. Since they were airborne, if Hulk continued to go berserk, then they'd crash, spelling their doom. Hulk vs. Hulkbuster is at number 4. There's so much love for fight scenes with Iron Man in, don't you agree? Because whenever he's involved, you can always expect a little touch of humour. It's no wonder why Spider-Man talks a lot in his battles when he has Stark as his mentor. But humour alone doesn't make this scene a memorable one. What makes this moment reach the top 5 is because viewers see Stark use one of his favourite suits, the Hulkbuster. In the comics, it first appeared in Iron Man Volume 1, number 304 during May 1994. As the name suggests, it was created so that Stark could engage in hand-to-hand combat with Hulk. In the movie, it was designed for precautionary measures in case Hulk ever loses control again. He did, obviously. Aren't the civilians lucky that Stark created this suit, hey? Especially since no other Avenger was able to lend a hand, thus forcing Iron Man to handle their little green friend alone. At number 3 is the Avengers versus Thanos. The battle scene of the Avengers in this movie is quite different from the ones they had in the past movies. And like the previous two, the Avengers had to fight the big bad Thanos in separate teams. One side that was led by Iron Man had their match on a different planet, while Captain America fought him in Wakanda, joined by Thor. The team had to face a lot of difficulties in this fight, improvising strategies, forced to get along with heroes they didn't know, making use of every resource, and heavy losses. This may be the most intense fight they've faced yet, but we all know who's to blame for Thanos winning this fight, right? At number 2 we have Captain America. In Avengers Infinity War, Cap is introduced in a Scottish train station when Scarlet Witch is struggling to cope with her attackers as she tirelessly defends the injured Vision. Proxima Midnight sees a figure appear in the shadows as the train passes. As she throws her weapon towards it, the figure catches it and steps out the shadows. The famous Avengers theme plays in the background as Captain America and the Falcon arrive to fight Thanos' minions, the Black Order. All the ingredients are in place for the audience to whoop with excitement as we see a totally pissed off Captain America. Saving the best for last, and number 1, once again we have Thor. Thor's earned a lot of respect from Marvel fans thanks to his role in Avengers Infinity War. One of the most memorable moments was when he arrived in Wakanda looking for revenge on Thanos. The build-up to this epic moment is perfect as we see our heroes in Wakanda completely overrun by Thanos. All of a sudden, the Bifrost comes blasting in, followed by a Stormbreaker. Thor appears in full god mode with glowing eyes and lightning crackling all around him. The God of Thunder goes ahead to deliver a significant blow to the evil mad titan Thanos. The scene is spectacular as we see Thor at his full potential.